Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun video we're going to be giving an updated shop tour for the summer. Things go a little bit differently out here in the summer as opposed to the winter when I traditionally do the shop tour. You guys know, if you are longtime viewers and subscribers of the channel, that I like to kick off every year, every season so to speak, with an updated shop tour, just showing where things are, reacquainting everyone with where everything is out in this 12-foot wide by 24-foot long workshop that my grandfather built from the ground up years and years ago. You guys will also know, if you are longtime viewers, that I take the cameras and pack them away every mid to late December, and then I don't pick them back up until mid to late January of the following year. That way I can spend Christmas and New Year's with my family, friends, and loved ones and make amazing memories with them without having to worry about dragging the cameras out here every day. And then I can also make some Christmas gifts, you know, behind the camera. But as I said, things go a little bit differently out here in the workshop during the summer, and this was an idea that fell into my head. I probably won't go as in-depth with this tour as I do with the winter shop tour. Again, that's the kickoff for the year video, but things are rearranged a little bit differently during the summer. The wood stove has been cleaned out, the heaters have been packed away, and the fans have been drug out, the doors usually propped open, and things are just different like that. And I wanted to show you guys how that workflow is and hopefully reacquaint some people where everything is out in the workshop. Now, the only way I know how to do this type of video is to take the camera off of the mounted tripod, put it in my hand, and then start at the shop door and then just walk around and talk about everything. So please bear with me if it kind of wobbles around a little bit. I'm going to be doing it freestyle, so to speak, and free-handed. But what I'm going to do now is take the camera off the tripod, go to the shop door, and we'll do a summertime tour. Let's get started. And here we are outside of the workshop beginning the tour, and right here is the music panels that was given to me by family, and I tacked them up on the wall, and they're always a great conversation piece for people who first come over. They try to guess who all the musicians and celebrities are. But we will go into the workshop. Once again, this is a 12-foot wide by 24-foot workshop that was built by my grandfather years and years ago from the ground up. But we will start with the first thing you see when you come into the door, and that is the scroll saw woodworking display wall. A lot of Steve Good designs here, a lot of Fox Chapel Publishing designs here as well, and I've also done some Kenny Hopkins and H. Bottas designs. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. But this wall here represents years and years of trial and error for me, and a progression of the evolution of my work over on the scroll saw. There's some older designs here that I was proud of when I made them years and years ago back on a 16-inch Delta scroll saw. Of course, at the time when I was originally scroll sawing the Twin Dragon with the cross piece there, I don't know who the pattern designer is, but that was my most complicated project at that time. That's why it still hangs up there to remind me how far I've came. But I've also done a lot more, hopefully, amazing projects since then. And throughout the years, the wall has evolved, so to speak, I guess that's the right word, to also include 3D printed works, laser works, CNC works, as well as a few wood turning examples that I have done. But as always, it is primarily a scroll saw woodworking display wall, and in my heart of hearts, that is what I truly am, a scroll saw woodworking artist, and I also like to dabble in other forms of the woodworking medium. But we'll do a panoramic view here and then go over to the shop door. During the summer, 99% of the time it is propped open unless there's some noise outside and I want to close it to try to nullify all the noise. I have turned off all of the fans so there's no wind blowing against the microphone on the camera here. But during the summer, I'll move the doorstop here, 99% of the people that come over are not aware that I have a stand-up drill press. This was my grandfather's. It is a beast of a machine, and years ago this was where I drilled 99% of the pilot holes for scroll saw woodworking projects. You can see I have a magnetic strip here beside the door with some of the commonly used drill bits I use. There's extra cases of drill bits, bits and bobs like a countersink bit. There's a drill bit sharpener that I've never quite figured out how to properly work, and there is of course sand and mops from Klingspor Woodworking Shop. Down here behind the door is my folding clamping workbench that I set the thickness planer on outside, as well as a small shop vac there. And you can see this 3D printed jig I made a couple years ago. This way I can drill out stuff like broom handles, handles that are round, dowel rods, I guess, you know, things like that. It just helps center that up a lot better. I'll put the door stop back in the door as we look at the hardware store, I like to call it. 3 of these bins my grandfather had for years and years, and he just drug them around the workshop, just put them wherever he had space. And then I finally got a 4th one. Someone gave me one, and I filled it up, and I'm trying to get better at categorizing everything, but I finally hung them up on the wall here, and I'm getting more familiar with where everything is. Above that is 3 of my grandfather's original hand saws that he had put his initials in with a little nail, and the 2 meat cleavers were actually my great-grandfather's, to show how far back the history goes, and those came from the old family farm. But backing up, you can see I have my bike out in the workshop for the summer. It usually lives in another building during the summer, during the winter, but then out in the summer I like to have it out here to where I can quickly just roll it outside and roll it out and get on the road and get my exercise in. And you can see I have a fan on the wood stove. Now during the summer I will also sometimes sit the fan off, especially if it's a rainy day outside. I'll sit the fan off, spread out some newspaper, and use this as kind of like a little work table to clear coat stuff on. But then during the summer the wood stove of course is unused. But anyway, here is my Craftsman leaf blower and weed eater, and they are powerful tools, help me get the yard work done during the summer. 2 signed wrestling posters. I used to be a huge fan of professional wrestling. I still am, I guess, but I guess I don't watch it as much as I used to. I like watching the older stuff, like from this era here. There is an example of the saw stop given to me by the saw stop rep. Here is 3 things here that really showcase what really makes me a friend of mine. Made the Pirates of the Caribbean ride side. Of course, I am the Artisan Pirate. There's a Thomas and Friends thing, and here's some 3D printed Wolverine claws, and then there is of course the Hot Wheels display and a nice little train here. So kind of encapsulating all of the stuff, you know, that I kind of like and have nostalgia for. There's my buddy Bill, who plays a pirate up in Pittsburgh. Here is the original sticker swap sticker box that was inspired by Steve Carmichael's rotating sticker swap sticker display that he had made. It runs on a disco ball motor, and it will turn the other way. Every time you unplug it and plug it back in, it will spin the opposite way. The disco ball spinner was, I think, $7, $8 on Amazon. But then we have my sanding station here, and you guys know sand and scroll saw work. I do not use a orbital sander. I use a vibrating palm sander, and of course Klingspor Woodworking shop sandpaper, and I have a great supply of different grits. Here is the laptop, and you can see I have the Lightburn software loaded onto it, and it runs the laser, which lives in this enclosure, and I always have my safety goggles for the laser close at hand. And here's something a little bit different from last year. I moved that toolbox and I raised this table up a little bit farther to suit my height. Of course it'll be different for everyone, but I have my digital calipers here to where I can quickly dial in my settings, and then I have scrap pieces of material here. I like having those close at hand. We were doing a grayscale test here. I'm going to try to attempt laser engraving images, and then with every new piece of material I put into the laser, I do this. This is a file I designed in Lightburn to where I can quickly see how well the material laser cuts and make sure it doesn't char the back side of it. You can see it almost cut that material out in 1 pass, but of course it could do it in 2 passes, and obviously if it done 2, it will easily do it in 3. But just a test I run all the time on new material. Again, here is the laser, and here is the power strip for it. And with the laser being what it is, and the wood stove being what it is, I of course have a charged fire extinguisher close at hand. I have my party speaker I take to the beach, and when I'm cleaning out in the backyard or working, I'll stick it in the shop door and play some good music. I have several cans of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. What the laser, the sanding area, and the laptop lives on is my grandfather's original workbench that I learned from his skilled hands on. And if I ever move or anything like that, I've always told people this workbench, some way, shape, or form, will go with me, because not all treasure is silver and gold. And this workbench here that he built, and I've still got to clean out the back side of it there, has a ton of memories and nostalgia for it. But right here we have the printer, and this is just a copy machine for me. My buddy Sam gave it to me, and I'm thankful for that. I stock it with black and white ink to print out patterns. And in this cabinet is all of my Scroll Saw Woodworking and Crafts magazines by Fox Chapel Publishings, as well as all of the books. And in that blue folder is all the instruction manuals for all of the tools out here in the workshop. Between this workbench, which is the long L-shaped workbench I like, and the cabinet is my stock of 1/4 inch material. And you guys know I pick up the material I scroll saw with at Lowe's. I pick up the laser material elsewhere because it's kind of weird. The material that I love to scroll saw from Lowe's works great on the scroll saw, but does not work good on the laser. The material I pick up elsewhere does not go good on the scroll saw. It don't scroll good, but it lasers and laser cuts exceptionally well. So I have to go to 2 different places to pick up that 1/4 inch material. I have some house paneling I was doing some test cuts on, as well as pieces of cardboard, because you can of course laser cut stencils over on the laser. Here is my little Win benchtop lathe, and there is the chisels, and all of these except the bowl gouge here is from Harbor Freight, because I'm still unfamiliar with the sharpening process, and I really would like to get back on the lathe. You can see some examples up here on the wall of some of the work I have made with it. Again, just little goblets. I've turned a bunch of pins, you know, but maybe one day I'll really get into it. Here is my rigid belt and spindle sander, and it's a powerful tool, and it is now connected to dust collection, to a 1-gallon shop vac here. And I have an incense burner here to where I can, you know, kind of eliminate the wood smell out here. I like different fragrances and things like that, so I do like to use incense out here in the workshop. But this tool here is very powerful, and if I really have to sand some big stuff, I will of course take it and put it over and clamp it down on the workshop, the table saw here, and, you know, pipe the dust collection to it for the shop vac and rock and roll there. But it lives here 99% of the time. Here is a new router and router table. Well, router table, I did put my grandfather's Craftsman router in it, but this was given to me by a family friend, and it can also be hooked up to dust collection, and I just transfer the hose where it needs to be. I do want to get another gallon shop vac and just have 2 under here to go with that one. Under this workbench is just extra wood, stuff like that, just tools and accessories. And there is my thickness planer, as well as my original Craig pocket hole jig. And then I won this pocket hole jig up at Klingsport, one of their store anniversaries, when I was doing demos. Up here above the workbench is just a nice shelf packed with more nostalgia. Again, I like to decorate any area that I'm in, and just to really show off my personality and everything. And then here we have pictures of me and some of my amazing friends and the people that inspire me. And I'll go all the way down the line here. Maybe you guys will recognize some of the people. You can pause the video if need be. But I have truly been blessed to meet so many amazing and talented individuals, and I support them and they support me. You can hear a fan running here on the workbench. Hopefully it's not causing any interference. Actually, I'll just go on and cut it off. And then back here on the back wall, where I usually begin and end all my videos, is the sticker swaps display wall. I still do a lot of sticker swaps. Only thing you guys need to do is reach out to me, and I'll be happy to get an Artisan Pirate sticker out to you. Of course, the Artisan Pirate sticker is, of course, what the banner is here above the CNC machine, and that brings us to here. This is the CNC machine, and unfortunately I don't use it as much as I probably should. You can see it's actually got sawdust on it. I usually put projects here to take photos of them, you know, just line stuff up for pictures. I do want to really get into using the CNC machine more. It's a shame that I haven't. It's just a time constraint with me running a weekly show out of the workshop here, you know, getting a video out every single Monday, every single Wednesday, and then a short or another video on Friday. I just haven't had the time to really sit and learn this machine, other than basic V carving, which is to make signs. We have done some sign videos on this machine, as well as pocket carving, like to make little trays or caddies or thing like that. There is a little barrel here for scrap wood, and during the summer, once it gets full, I'll take it in the backyard and dump it on the fire pit and, you know, light it up there. But in the winter, I'll start saving it a lot more. And also during the winter, what I will do is I'll add a bunch of wood here to dry that will then in turn go into the wood stove and generate heat. Here is the Rikon table saw. Rikon in Klingspor kindly provided me with this, and this has been a beast of a table saw. It's done everything I've asked it to. It's amazingly precise. It's precision and quality in my book, and I'd highly recommend it. I did upgrade the miter gauge to an Incra one, and that just overall took the quality to the next level with the precision of the cuts and everything. The table saw is connected to a Craftsman 12-gallon shop vac. There is the air compressor, and then there is the toolbox that the laptop used to live on. And I know some people are going to ask, why did I put it down here? And that's because I don't go to this a lot. I'm a scroll saw woodworking artist, and of course, being a scroll saw artist, I don't need wrenches, I don't need tools like that, but they are there if I do need them. But I would like to find a better place for that toolbox to live, hopefully in the future. Here we have another little parts bin that was given to me, and that one's packed full. And then beside the banner is stuff that has been given to me. If you guys give me anything, I am happy to display it. I'm happy to wear it. Of course, I have several hats given to me by tool companies and everything. But if you make something, I treasure that more than anything. Not all treasure is silver and gold, my friends. Just going through here, I'll do a slow pan of it from the bottom. A beautiful pirate themed pen by my buddy Michael. Michelle Parsons, I got that from her. Jerry Meismer made me the birdhouse. A subscriber to the channel, excuse me, sent me some examples of his work. My buddy Sam made this box for me that held a turned razor handle, you know, for shaving and everything. Marty made this stuff for me. Marty's Ramblings. My buddy Robert in New York made that. Some pen blanks, just extra stuff like that. And then my little buddy Devin, who's a longtime follower of the channel, made me that little pirate thing. Countryside Scrolling made me the little train there. But just a lot of great stuff here, and I treasure it dearly. And now, of course, you guys have sent me so much stuff that I've had to put some of the stuff out in the house itself and just display it there. Here is my overflowing scrap bin, and you can see it has overflowed to the floor beside the bandsaw. And I just can't bear to just throw away scraps. I mean, I should throw away this little piece here. I was doing some test cuts over on the scroll saw, making sure everything was square, but I have it in my mind, hey, I can use it for something. But then we have my Rust-Oleum paints and clear coats here. Again, I use a ton of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And then above that is my little tribute to my grandfather. He had the name Dink's Hobby Shop, but that was not his name. That was just the name of the shop. His glasses, his original Craftsman hammer and tape measure, his Beekeepers Association. He was also a champion rabbit breeder. And then there is a photo of me and him. And that's one regret I have. I do not have no photo of me and him as adults, because as he got older, he was just of that mindset. He didn't like photos. But here is my 16-inch motorized bandsaw. Get a little closer to it. It is a Delta. I've just got a magnet stuck there. I've got wrote on it, it takes an 82-inch blade. That way I can never forget it. And it is a good bandsaw, a 16-inch one, as I said. It's the old 3-wheel design here, but the motor is getting older, and I can tell if I run anything more than 3/4 inch in thickness through it, it starts to bog down. So I would like to upgrade bandsaws in the future. Over here in the corner is my Craftsman cordless tools and all of the chargers, as well as my little work bag. And I also have a clipboard now to where I can jot down ideas for videos such as this one, where, you know, I thought about doing a summertime shop tour. Up here with my grandfather's champion rabbit breeding trophies is just more books. Those are some of my original books themselves. And then a picture of my beloved grandparents there in that fretwork frame. That was an older project video. Here we have two amazing banners, one from Klingspor Woodworking Shop and one from Rikon. Those are two companies that totally get it, and I support them fully, and they in turn support people that support them, and I cannot thank them enough for all of the love, support, and kindness. So you guys rock, and I want to say it here on a public platform. And then that just leaves the scroll saw area, and you guys know I am a huge fan, I'm going to try to show it here, of an L-shaped workbench like this. That way if I'm sitting here at the scroll saw on my table, I'll kind of get here to illustrate. When I'm scroll sawing, I can easily set stuff aside, pick it up to the left or right of me, or even twist in my chair and lay stuff over here on the workbench for sanding and assembly. That way I do not have to keep getting up and getting down. This is new from the January tour, and this is the Rikon 10-622VS 22-inch variable speed scroll saw, and it is a beast of a machine. But keep in mind, I still have the Delta scroll saw down there. A lot of people asked why did I, quit using the Delta. There wasn't nothing wrong with it, but Rikon, once again, wanted to give this to me through Klingsford Woodworking Shop, and it has been a beast of a tool, and we're already making amazing and creative projects on it. And you can see how I have resolved that pin issue. Remember, I said reaching back 22 plus inches to pop it every time. I've just ran a wire right down, and then when the arm is up, I can just quickly pull this with my right hand while holding the arm, and then the arm will lower. That way I do not have to reach back every time, and I do have a foot pedal, so please keep that in mind. I think they are very handy with scroll saw woodworking. Of course, I have my cell phone out here, and when I'm working, I try to always keep it facing against the phone stand here. That way I'm not distracted by it. But if I want to do a story or film a little quick clip, the cell phone is right on hand. And of course, I always have water with me, whether it be summer, fall, winter, or spring. I drink a lot of water. There was the fan that was running, and behind the fan I have a very old school iPod here that I've got wired to a guitar amplifier. And here is even more stuff, more pirate themed stuff. My buddy hand carved this sign freehand with a router, believe it or not, and his work has gotten even way better since he made that. I've got the pirate skull and crossbone. I've got a Lego pirate figure I 3D printed and painted, Mac Tonight, an Artisan Pirate piece that was given to me by my good buddy Ben, and then a 3D printed Tyrannosaurus Rex skull. And then I have this sign I cut out in 2020 hanging right beside the scroll saw. If you guys watch a lot of my social media stories, you guys know that I like to pan from the scroll saw and pan to this sign while the music is going. But this is pretty much it for the summertime shop tour. What I'm going to do right now, I hope you guys have enjoyed it, but what I'm going to do right now is put the camera back on the tripod and we'll close the video. And that, my friends, is the shop tour for summer. To timestamp today's video, if you guys see this video later on down the line and you don't see it on its upload day, which will of course be a Wednesday, the time of the video when I actually done the recording that you've seen here in the video is late June 2024. So just please keep that in mind. I don't know when the video will go live to the channel, probably sometimes in mid-July, maybe around that time. But anyway, I had a lot of fun bringing this video to the platform, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, things go a little bit differently during the summer. I know during the winter months when I have to bring wood in here and scrap wood to use in the wood stove, in the early mornings before sunrise, I have to bundle up and run out here, turn the heaters on in the back, light the wood stove, make sure it's going good and everything's clear, go back in until the chill's knocked off, and then come back out here to actually begin making sawdust and creative content for you guys. But you guys know, if you actually really know me, know that I love these summer months as opposed to the cooler winters. I can tolerate the heat a lot better than I can the cold, but even so, I still have all the fans running out here, you know, keeping a nice brisk breeze going all the way around, and of course the shop door is open. Two things I did not show you in today's video. I do have a little mini refrigerator underneath the main workbench behind me. This is where I assemble everything, but I have the little mini fridge, and it's stocked with extra waters in case people come over and they want a water, and it has snacks in it like carrots. I'm trying to eat a lot more healthier as I get a little older. And above the camera is a wind air filtration system, trying to keep the air quality out in this small workspace as clear and clean as possible. And of course the laser is also connected to dust extraction that pipes everything out the back of the workshop into an empty field behind it. Now keep in mind, during the summer I'm able to have that door open and the fans are able to push everything out the door. During the winter the door is closed 9 times out of 10 because of the coolness, and I'm wanting to keep the heat in here, but that also keeps that floating sawdust and everything in here as well. So the air filtration unit is a must. But this was just a video that fell into my head and I wanted to bring to the platform for you guys, especially just showing different things. If you guys seen something that was new, you know, that has happened since the January shop tour, of course I showed you and talked about it in today's video, it just shows the progression and evolution of a workspace as you suit everything to your workflow and your needs and what you want to do and accomplish out in your workspace. But if you guys have any questions, you guys know I'm always happy to answer any questions you guys want to ask me. Just email me, PM me on social media. I'm happy to interact with you guys, my followers and subscribers, because without you and the support of people like Rycon and Klingspor Woodworking Shop, I would not still be doing this. I still love what I do. I'm happy to come out here and film the videos for you guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this summer shop tour. I probably won't do one next year because it would just be a rinse and repeat of everything, but again, I always feel it's appropriate to kick off a new year, a new season so to speak, with a shop tour every January when I pick the cameras back up. But I hope you guys have liked today's video. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and follow along on all the future journeys. And also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one. And remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.